Hello, everybody. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. We have some active weather returning to the deep south with a risk for severe weather tonight, and some snow that hit the mountains of California is now spreading into the Rocky Mountain West. And we also have another system getting ready to pound California with what the National Weather Service says is 1 to 4 feet of snow. Your forecast begins right now. We're going to start with a look at what's going on now across the nation. Here we go. The radar, well, it's showing up with a little activity in parts of the deep south from Kansas, Oklahoma, and primarily Texas tonight. All of the colors you see here, by the way, will point out the fact that we have winter weather advisories in blue through the mountains of Wyoming, portions of Idaho and Montana, but the red, winter storm warnings for various parts of the Rocky Mountain West. We also have winter storm watches and warnings out for the mountains of California, as yet another system is going to take aim on that neck of the woods as well. And here in the deep south, there are no severe weather warnings right now. Oh, I take that back. Just now we have our first severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds that has been issued for the Haskell area by the National Weather Service just now as we go live. This storm system amplifying and intensifying and is capable of some significant hail, and it is basically located near the Sagerton area, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. And again, this is a radar indicated severe thunderstorm hail damage is expected from this particular storm, and its movement is carrying it to the north and to the east. There you can see the storm moving out of the Hamlin area and moving into the polygon. So Rule, also out towards Rochester, a chance for some strong and potent thunderstorm activity right now. So things are happening, things are changing. We do have an area of dense fog advisories across the Dakotas into parts of central and western Nebraska as we head into the evening. Would love to have you chime in with your location. Where are you watching from? What weather do you care about? This is a wild stretch of weather that's heading our way. That's a look at the radar right now and what's going on with regards to that system. Let's go ahead and track these storms in Texas, and to do that adequately, let's talk about what the Storm Prediction Center has with regards to our risk for severe weather. Now, the area highlighted in the south of the map here through most of Texas is a slight risk area. That's a level 2 on a 5-level scale of severe weather. Now, what that means is there is a chance for some of these storms to be severe, that not expecting widespread severe. And what are the main threats tonight? And the green area, by the way, which does encompass much of western Oklahoma, is a marginal risk. That means storms may flirt with severe criteria, but the risk of them being severe is not as high as it will be in the slight risk area. Here's a look at the threats per the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. This is a look at hail, and hail risk is hatched down here, which means there is a significant greater than 60% risk that anywhere within about 30 miles of a point in this area that's hatched down here by my arrow will have a chance at seeing significant hail in excess of 1 inch in diameter, possibly even larger. A lot of updraft, a lot of energy in the atmosphere, a 15% risk in the yellow area, and a 5% risk for hail in the area that is brown. There is a risk tornadoes cannot be ruled out tonight. Here is what the Storm Prediction Center says. The area in green here has a 2% risk of tornadoes. What's a 2% risk of a tornado mean? It means there is a 2% chance that you will see a tornado form within 30 miles of any point in this area that you saw on the map right here. So keep that in mind. Have your severe weather precautions handy, and know this. We're going to take a look now at the Storm Prediction Center's website here, and I want to point out a couple of areas of concern and where the risk might be the greatest as we head into the evening. To do that, we're going to look at some data from the Storm Prediction Center right now, and let me go ahead and put that on your screen so I can share it with you. Here we go. I may have to do a little bit of centering. Nope, this looks pretty good. Looking ahead tonight, do you see these little circled areas right here on your screen? This area down below, these are ingredients that are required for tornadoes to form, parameters required in the atmosphere for spin, for lift and energy. And the area that may have the greatest risk for tornadoes, should the storm spread this far south, will be right along that Rio Grande Valley and stretching up through central parts of Texas. That's where in the present time the risk looks to be the greatest. So that's one interesting item of note there. And again, in looking at some of the other factors, we can step through in time in Texas here. Let me see if I can zoom this in just a little bit. Okay, let's see, there we go. Zoom it in, move it up. Okay, so now what we're looking at here, if we just go ahead and look at the guidance in Texas, you're looking at a tornado parameter that highlights the areas that several models average show where that will be. And let me see if I can skip ahead here. There we go. So what we're looking at is, well, this is not playing for me. Here we go. Let's go ahead and forward. There we go. Moving across Texas from the panhandle and into the central part of the state is where that chance is going to be the greatest. Watch it play through that red boxed area, mainly following the southern half of Texas through the evening hours tonight. So things are getting started right now, as we showed you on the radar, and that's where the risk for severe weather is the greatest. And again, another quick peek at our friends at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for tonight. Again, the risk is greatest across southern and central Texas for the onset of some severe thunderstorm formation tonight. Looking for your comments and would love to have you chime in with where you're watching from. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you tonight, and we do have that risk of severe weather, but we also have had some significant snow in the last couple of days, I should say, in the mountains of California. That is now spreading into parts of the Central Plains, and the models are showing that we do have a chance for some fairly significant snow as we go through. So let's wrap up the severe weather talk, and then we'll turn the page to snow by going down to the individual radar sites down in the deep south in Texas and take one more look at the changing and evolving situation there right now. So we'll select a site here. The closest one will be the Abilene area. And now as we look in at the radar data from Abilene, this is the pinpoint pinpoint location of the storm. Here's what I am looking at. Now, as a meteorologist, we look for a couple of hints that this storm is showing. And this little area right here that I'm circling with my pencil, that looks like a little bite was taken out of the storm. That can be categorized as a hook echo. This is not a tornado warning, but this storm is showing some characteristics of that. Does it show characteristics of spin? Let me go ahead and take a look at the velocities with regard to this particular storm and the relative velocities. When you see greens next to reds, that would indicate that there is some, well, just right next to each other, opposite motion inside the cloud of the storm. So not a lot of evidence here of real strong velocity on that storm. And when we look at the reflectivities are the strongest where we see these pinks. And again, we do see some areas with some pretty intense reflectivities heading right into that Haskell area and Rule that are warned for this storm. So if there is any rotation that forms on this storm, it looks like it would be on this south side where my hand is. It's moving off to the north and east, and a little bit more information on the data from this storm. Still anticipating 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 1-inch diameter hail, and the motion of the storm moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. And with that storm motion, we'll pick the hail core of the storm moving at about 35 miles per hour. If I can carry it up that far, I think I've got something in the way here. Let me move that. Pardon me while I clear that out. There we go. All right, so now we're going to look at the motion of the storm. 35 miles per hour in this general direction to the north and east. I'm having some trouble with the software here, kind of tagging along. I may have to zoom out just a pinch. Sorry about that. Okay, now I can get the 35 mile per hour zone in there. Now, as we look at that storm moving in that general direction, it's going to move fairly close to the Haskell area with the hail core and the rotating or the southern part of the storm that could have some potential for some wild winds and rear flank downdraft, we call it, on the backside of the storm. Nonetheless, you're going to get a lot of heavy rain and hail with that storm as it slides its way to the north and to the east. So that's what's going on there. Now, let's take a peek at what's going on in the mountains of Colorado now with a look at the radar here. We're going to choose a national radar scene so we can get more coverage it's a composite of the nation. Not a lot going on at this particular juncture, but we do have some mixed precipitation showing up in the mountains of Colorado. This low pressure system is just now setting up there, and it's going to park, bringing heavy snow to the mountains outside of Denver. Between Denver and Colorado Springs, even here on the Palmer Ridge, we call it, a good chance of some developing snow there between Saturday and Sunday morning. So Saturday and Sunday morning, heavy snow, 5 to 10 inches between the pass between Denver and Colorado Springs, called the Palmer Ridge and the Palmer Divide. Woodland Park, Cripple Creek, picking up some snow. In the ski resorts west of town, west of Denver on I-70, you can expect some significant snow, 10 to 20 inches. That will take place between basically today and Sunday morning. So a prolonged snow event there is going to produce some very healthy snow potential there. How about the mountains of western Montana near Helena, the state capital? I expect to see a chance for some snow. Weather Service says 5 to 10 inches of snow with some gusty winds as well as that system works its way through the northern Rockies, heading into parts of eastern Idaho, western Montana, Bozeman, Butte, Missoula, all standing in the path of that. Now, Utah, St. George's, Utah down here, we're looking at some wintry weather in the elevated terrain. This warning is until Saturday in the morning, so overnight tonight, winter driving conditions and a good 5 inches of snow there. Now, here's the big one. This is what we're watching as storms take hold here in the near future as we see another system working its way off the Pacific. I'll show you the timing on this in a second. But this is a winter storm warning for the mountains outside of, say, Reno and Carson City. Check this out. At or above 6,000 feet, read this. Snow accumulations above 6,000 feet, up to 4 feet along the Sierra Crest with 85-mile-per-hour winds. This is expected when right here, 10 p.m. Saturday, all the way through the morning on Monday. So that greater Lake Tahoe area is going to get slammed with some significant snow. Now you go north of Redding, California here, and if we read the snowfall potential expected there, not quite as much, but nothing to sneeze at here, folks. Get a hiccup out and a big shovel. 1 to 3 feet of snow above 3,500 feet. So that's a little lower elevation that's expected to get in the game there. So the mountains of California are expected to see some very significant snow. All right, and this is coming on the heels of some snow that's already fallen in that area. We have had over the last 24 to 36 hours some snow. So we'll take a look at some snow reports because there was a good amount of snow hitting the northeastern United States in Maine, and look at the mountains of California. Here is a look at the reports from the last 24 hours. We'll zoom in on California first and take a look where you see the red dots here. We have snowfall reports 22.1 inches in Lassen. This is also healthy reports of a foot near Soda Springs, 14 inches near Bear Valley, 14 inches of snow as well for you in the Twin Bridges area. Colorado saw some snow and is seeing some snow, 9 inches in the Rockwood area. That's a good healthy amount. And how about Prescott? Looking in that area. 3 miles southwest of Walker, Arizona, a foot and a half, not a foot and a half, 12.5 inches of snow falling in that area. Sometimes my tongue gets twisted because I love talking weather, and it's live. Here, check this out. Maine getting whacked with a good 8 inches of snow. That's by New Sweden, Maine up there. So some northern Maine snow. And in Maine, near Abbott, 1 inch of snow in the last 24 hours. So that's a look at what's fallen now. And you take the 1 to 2 feet of snow that has fallen there in the mountains of California, and you put another 1 to 4 feet on top of it, and that's going to be no picnic. Do I detect a dark red? Dark red is the heaviest. 25 inches, Pinecrest. Yeah, I detected a dark red. So some heavy snow taking aim on the mountains of California, the Rocky Mountains, all of the ski resorts getting a good chance. We're going to take a look at a global model here, and we're going to pop up a look at the precipitation type. And we're going to let this load right now. I'll put it in 3D mode because that's kind of fun. And we're going to take a look right now at the model forecast snow that's expected as we head into the next several days. Notice some of these watches and warnings that were coming out have already been warned for, or watches issued by the National Weather Service days in advance. This storm system is going to work its way in off the Pacific. Let me take you to the model now as we get a look at this and what you can expect. So severe weather tonight in Texas, check. We've gone over that. We've got mountain snow in places like Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, and Colorado, all the way down into, well, Utah. Well, we got your area covered. Now let's check this next storm system that's coming into the nation. Now to do that, we're going to take a look at this model. Here we go. Woohoo! Okay, let's tilt the earth back a little bit, and I'm going to lose these the active warnings presently so that those don't clutter our view here. So pardon me while I just do some digital correction to the graphic here. Now, what we're going to do is put this puppy in motion, and we're going to have a look at the clock up top here so you can see when things are going on. Here we go as things start up, and we are looking at snow tonight as we go through the mountains of Colorado. We looked at, well, anywhere from the Colorado Springs area through the western mountains near Vail. That spins its way up to Calgary, Alberta, Helena, Montana, Spokane, Washington, all seeing snow. That's from this first wave of system, and the severe weather expresses its way out to the Atlantic coast, the eastern portions of the Gulf of Mexico, by the time we get to your day on the morning of the 4th, which is Sunday morning. So that's it. Here comes the next system. Do you see it? This is Sunday. This is Reno. This is a look at that heavy mountain snow that will be working its way into Northern California, Redding, Elko, Nevada, and look at Bend, Oregon getting in the trick as well, with that heavy snow lasting all the way into the late evening of the 4th on Sunday. How about Monday? Yep, the watches and warnings continue until Monday as this system just continues to pound precipitous precipitation falling from the sky in the elevated terrain of California, Nevada, and even once again the mountains of Utah. And how about Washington State as well? A lot of active weather continues as this low pressure system, look at it explode over the elevated terrain north of Vegas and all the way up to Twin Falls, Idaho. So a lot of very active snow as we push into the beginning of the next work week here on Monday and Tuesday next week. So the track of the storm system this far out is certainly questionable. Models do not agree on the precise track of it. So you'll want to bear in mind that we'll need to keep our eyes on that. A section of this storm heads up into the Montana area and the western Dakotas as we head into next week as well, where wintry weather will return to the northern plains after record highs today once again across portions of the northern plains. 50s and dare I say 60s as well have made their way all the way into just kissing the Canadian border, if you can believe that or not. So that's a look at this storm system. I'll carry it out a little bit farther, but my confidence in the accuracy of this is not as high. Look at the low pressure system ejecting into the central plains, bringing very wet weather to places like Des Moines. Iowa could use the moisture. Minnesota could use the moisture. And look at this, a potential for some snow returning to the Northland, Grand Forks, North Dakota, where they play some, well, really, really good hockey at the University of North Dakota. And Winnipeg, those Jets could get some snow up there, the NHL team out there. Look at all of the wintry weather returning as we go through the first full week of the month of February. Look at this, another storm slams the Pacific southern coast and will put another low crossing the Rockies down to the deep south as we close out this forecast period. So a very active stretch of weather taking place across the majority of the nation. Once again, here is a look at the basics of our weather. We have heavy snow that is going to be expected through the Rocky Mountain West now, Montana, you're talking Idaho, we're talking Utah, we're talking Wyoming, and also Colorado down into northern New Mexico, and even the high country in Arizona. And then this batch of heavy snow you see in Northern California is on its way, and it looks real heavy, with the National Weather Service using terms like 1 to 4 feet of snow, and that's above elevations as low as 3,500 feet in Northern California near Eureka. Tonight, we have a severe storm risk in parts of California. That's not California, that's Texas. Risk of severe weather in Texas ongoing right now, with the watch issuance a possibility here in the next little bit. My name is Hutch Johnson. I'm a meteorologist. It's been wonderful to visit with you. Pass the word. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Until next time, have an awesome evening and, well, stay up to date with the latest. And for travelers, know that some impactful snow will be impacting a lot of the Rocky Mountain West and the West Coast as we go through the next several days. Check out more of my videos right here in the end of this. And I, well, hope you have an awesome weekend and have